Harry Kane didn't just save England's World Cup. He may have saved Thomas Tuchel's job, England's reputation, and an entire nation from reliving one of its darkest football memories. For more than 80 minutes, England looked like they were heading toward another historic collapse, the kind that fans would talk about for decades. Then, in just 11 minutes, everything changed. But the comeback wasn't just about 2 goals. It revealed something much bigger about this England team. And that's the part almost everyone missed.
At first, nothing suggested England would survive this game. They came into the knockout match against DR Congo carrying enormous expectations. This was a squad that had reached 2 recent major finals. They had a new manager brought in with one clear objective: win the World Cup. Anything less would feel like failure. But almost immediately, England looked nervous. Passes went astray. Players hesitated. The entire team seemed unsure of itself. And after only a few minutes, DR Congo took advantage. A clever attacking move exposed England's defense, and Brian Cipenga fired past Jordan Pickford to make it 1-0. Suddenly, England weren't chasing victory, they were chasing survival. But that was only the beginning. The strangest moments didn't happen after goals. They happened during the hydration breaks. Normally, these are chances for players to catch their breath. This time, they looked more like emergency meetings. Thomas Tuchel gathered his players, calmly trying to explain tactical adjustments while everything around him suggested panic instead. The players didn't look relaxed. They looked defeated. Some barely lifted their heads. Others stared into the distance. Reece James even pulled Jude Bellingham aside for a private conversation. Whatever was being said, England clearly weren't functioning as a team. Here's where it gets interesting. Tuchel kept asking for calm, but calm was the one thing nobody seemed capable of finding.
As the game continued, England created chances, but nothing changed on the scoreboard. DR Congo remained organized and disciplined. Their goalkeeper, Lionel Mpasi, kept producing save after save. Every missed opportunity increased the pressure. Every wasted attack brought England one step closer to disaster. And the atmosphere inside Atlanta Stadium became strangely emotional. The crowd wasn't celebrating. They were waiting for another famous English collapse. If that sounds familiar, that's because England have lived through these moments before. Iceland in 2016, Croatia, Norway, decades of painful exits that still haunt supporters today. It felt like history was preparing to repeat itself. But history had one more twist left.
The final hydration break felt less like a timeout and more like a last chance. England were still losing. Tuchel once again delivered instructions, adjusting the system and encouraging his players to keep believing. Whether those tactical messages truly changed the match is impossible to know. What mattered was what happened immediately afterward. England abandoned caution. They pushed more players forward. Declan Rice found himself driving toward the byline. Anthony Gordon delivered the final pass. And Harry Kane did what great strikers have done throughout football history. He arrived exactly where he was needed. His powerful header finally beat Mpasi. The score was level. But even then, the feeling inside the stadium wasn't joy. It was relief. Massive relief. Yet Kane wasn't finished. And that's what changed everything. Only minutes later, England attacked again. Gordon found Kane once more. This time, Kane twisted inside the box, shifted the ball onto his right foot, and unleashed a fierce shot beneath the crossbar. It was the kind of finish that instantly changes emotions. One moment, England were facing humiliation. The next, their bench was sprinting onto the pitch in celebration. In just 11 minutes, Kane had completely rewritten the story of England's World Cup. But those 2 goals meant far more than qualification.
Harry Kane had experienced England's darkest moments before. He was there during the infamous defeat to Iceland in 2016, one of the lowest points in modern English football. He knew what it felt like when expectations turned into embarrassment almost overnight. That's why this comeback carried extra meaning. It wasn't simply another match-winning performance. It was a player refusing to let history repeat itself. At one stage, there had even been discussions about England eventually moving beyond Kane under Tuchel. After this performance, those conversations suddenly looked very different.
The comeback also exposed an uncomfortable truth. England still looked like a team searching for its identity. Defensively, they were vulnerable. Midfield balance remained questionable. The right side struggled throughout large parts of the game. DR Congo repeatedly punished England's lack of defensive structure and tactical discipline. Even after the victory, those problems hadn't disappeared. Kane didn't solve them. He simply gave England another chance to solve them later. In theory, winning hides weaknesses. In practice, those weaknesses often return against even stronger opponents. And England's next challenge won't be any easier.
Now, England move on to face Mexico in the round of 16. They survived this scare, but survival isn't the same as convincing. For long stretches against DR Congo, they looked disconnected, uncertain, and vulnerable. Without Harry Kane, this tournament might already be over. That's both comforting and concerning, because relying on one player can rescue you once. It doesn't always rescue you twice.
And that's what makes this story so fascinating. The headline says Harry Kane scored twice, but the real story is everything those two goals prevented. They prevented another painful chapter in England's football history. They protected Thomas Tuchel from immediate disaster. They gave this team another opportunity to prove they really belong among the favorites. Whether they can fix the deeper problems remains to be seen. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want more football stories that explain what everyone else misses, make sure to subscribe. And let me know in the comments, did Harry Kane simply save England's World Cup? Or did he only delay the problems that could still end it?